Banking should be easy and convenient. That's why I'm a MeetU Credit Union member. They got a top-rated mobile app, and they get to use over 30,000 ATMs for free. That means I could access my money anywhere. Like here. Breathing. Or here. Oh. And always here at my local branch.
You can't be back here.
Right. If you live or work in the Baltimore area, check out MeetU Credit Union and start getting more for your money. Welcome to better banking for all.
Welcome back to RadioOnFire.com. Yours truly, Don McKay, in here, coming at you from the Radio on Fire studios here in Baltimore, Maryland. So we're on the heels of the first Democratic debate took place, and it didn't go the way I expected it to go. I will say that did not go the way that I envisioned, the way I predicted. So we had 10 potentials on the stage. The biggest one being Elizabeth Warren. And, everybody trying to make their case. You got 10 people on the stage. We got 25 people running for the Democratic nomination right now. 25 people running. And, of course, obviously, many of them not going to make it. And tonight, I really saw a lot of people showcasing that they are not ready for the presidential race. A lot of people that can be in the Congress, but, not some, everybody up there is not a presidential contender, even though they technically are a presidential contender. So let's talk about some people that did well. Okay, Amy Klobuchar, I thought, did well. One thing about Amy Klobuchar, and she mentions President Obama often, whenever she gets a chance. So if you don't know who I'm talking about. So Amy Klobuchar is obviously the lady whose face is above her name, Amy Klobuchar. I thought she did well, as I said. And, she's from the Midwest, and if you remember, if you follow this very closely, she is the lady who, when she made her announcement, she was out in like some rinky-dink barn, and snow was coming down on her hair, and, and all that kind of stuff. So she took offense to, I think it was John Delaney saying that he was the only person on stage that was fighting for women's rights and reproductive rights, and so she had to jump in and say something there. Bill de Blasio, not somebody who is not somebody who comes up in the popularity contest. Of course, he is the mayor of New York. He was also on the end, and he tried to bogart his way in. I actually thought that it worked well for him. Now, of course, he's a New Yorker, so he's going to be brash. He's going to be bold. He's going to be in your face. He's going to be obnoxious. He was all of those things. Here's why I think that it worked for him, though, okay? Some people don't like his personality. Some people thought that he was annoying. But this type of guy is tailor-made for a fight with Donald Trump. He's from New York as well. And I thought that he did well. And I thought that he actually was a standout. Now, considering the fact that he's probably coming from less than zero, you may say, okay, big deal. Like, what's really good with him? All right, so the big dog, Elizabeth Warren, and I'm calling her the big dog because she has the most name recognition of the folks that were there, I think. She has a plan for everything, as she likes to famously say. She has a plan for everything. She's supposed to be the progressive darling. She is someone who initially was a teacher, and she came out and, I'm saying, she did her thing and all of that. A lot of people saying that she is taking the votes away from Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, who I'm not really a fan of Bernie. I'm not. I wasn't a fan of Bernie last time. And here he is back again. Elizabeth Warren talked about wanting to pursue Medicare for all if elected. And that's, of course, something that Bernie Sanders and her have in common. Warren said that the Medicare for all will solve many problems. And she claims, of course, that health care is a human right. It's a human right. John Delaney said that the Democratic Party should be the party that keeps what's working and takes away what's not. So he's not in favor of, stopping people from having private insurance. It's a tricky thing. That the health insurance debate is tricky. There's more than one way that you can do it. There's more than one way that you can do it. And, I don't want people to sit and bicker about the different ways that we can do it. Just present us with a plan that works and go forward. You don't have to shoot down another plan or this or that. Give us a plan that works and let it work. I think that if people like what they have, let them keep what they have. And if they don't have anything, they don't like that, so then give them an option if they don't have anything. Now, if they have something, that people say this kind of stuff all the time. It's a Republican talking point. If you like your insurance, and you should want to keep it, right? A lot of people don't understand that the insurance business is not set up for the recipient of the insurance. It's set up for the people who you're buying the plan from. They're the ones that benefit. And they have a lot of money to promote to people and make them think that they like something that you don't. Nobody likes paying insurance, right? And health insurance is one of the most expensive things that we can get. So if they have a way to simplify it, make it more effective for the end user and not just something that is so geared towards the insurance company and the big pharma, I think that would be better. A lot of people, when they talk about health insurance, they don't even know what they're talking about. So I was prepared tonight to dump on Rep. Tim Ryan. I thought that he looked scared and shook. Who's Tim Ryan? Tim Ryan. All right, so Tim Ryan, for a moment, thought that he was going to be able to knock out and, try to take out and he thought that he was going to be the next guy, right? But he wasn't. He wasn't the next guy. And he is now running for president. So I thought that he looked out of place. And before he actually started talking, I had written him off. But he came up with some good points. He made some good points about the Democratic Party having lost its connection with blue-collar workers. And he really made a direct plea towards people that really are in the Trump base, the so-called forgotten people. Now, Tim Ryan, as I said, he tried to unseat unsuccessfully Nancy Pelosi. Then he came to his senses and realized he couldn't play that game. So now he's trying to run for president. Now, while he does not have the right look as far as the confidence level, maybe that's something he can develop over time, not sure. But I did like what he was saying about the Democratic Party not being the party of elitists, not being the party of, he called them the coastal people. It needs to include everybody if they're going to be successful. We need to get some of the people that voted for Trump. We need to get them on the Democratic Party. If you're expecting to evict Trump from the White House, you're going to have to knock down some of his base. And that was something that Rep. Ryan did. But overall, I thought that Julian Castro, I thought that he did a decent job. He had a very interesting exchange with Beto O'Rourke, who I thought had a horrible evening. Horrible evening. I thought for the most part, a lot of the people spoke from the heart, but Beto comes off as rehearsed, tired, and lame. And the more time goes by, the more I realize he should stay in the Congress and not try to run for president. Not today, not this race, not 4 years from now, not 8 years from now, not ever. Okay? Not ever. So, I thought that, as I said, Elizabeth Warren, she really seemed like the adult in the room. I thought that, there were some key moments here. There were some key moments. Trump's name did not come up a lot. Quite honestly, it didn't. And I think that people were too sensitive and too conscious to not mention Trump a lot. It's important to mention Trump, but they wanted to make sure that they did not mention him a lot. I also didn't like the 5 hosts for the show. Probably should have said this at the top. There were 5 hosts on the show, right? So midway through, they switch up and give us 2 more people. And then, we have a studio here. We have a couple of sets in here. And what happens a lot of times when you try to rush and do a set change or a personnel change, you have audio problems. And they had audio problems, okay? And that cut into some of the time. And I thought that it was really clunky. The original hosts, I thought, were fine. They should have hosted the whole first night. And then you should have had Chuck Todd and Rachel Maddow, who I love. I love Rachel Maddow. But you should have had them on the second night. And when they initially announced it, that's how it was going to be. But there was some kind of change up. And I didn't like it. I did not like the change up. It was distracting, and it just threw things off. So they had problems with the monitors, problems with the microphone, and there were all kind of issues. Eventually, they got through them, but really, this debate to me suffered from too many people. They could have spread this out all week and had 5 per night. Honestly, I mean, MSNBC and CNN, whatever. All these people, they run their network. They should have just did this all. They should have just did this all week, because you couldn't really get into when somebody's really trying to get something going. Then you got to cut it. I understand there are going to be 12 debates this season, but at the end of the day, the first debate, the first couple of debates, we should be able to get some real, we should really be able to tell what's going on. Now, the method that they used to get people in was janky anyway. It was very random. There were long moments of time where Elizabeth Warren didn't say anything, but I did feel like she shined. And another weird thing for Beto, did I say he had a bad night already? Beto had a bad night. Just out of nowhere, he just randomly started speaking Spanish. It was really random. But as I said, him and Julian Castro had a very interesting exchange. I did think that Amy Klobuchar got the biggest applause of the evening. It was interesting. It was interesting. So the 10 candidate thing, I don't like it. Tulsi Gabbard, she's an ex-military girl, and she talked about that, and I think that that's something that she should play up to. I just did not feel like she was. I felt, and I like her, so I don't, with all due respect, I felt like she was out of her league. We really need her in the Congress. That's where you need her. She is not, and come on now. She's not going to be president. So what are we doing? Like what's really good? She's not going to be president. But who am I to tell anybody that they should not, should not be in it? But anyway, the thing about it is that when you have 10 people up there, you got a bunch of people that have answers and thoughts, and they don't get to talk. Chuck Todd is a professional, but it seems to me like all he did all night is cutting somebody off because they don't have a lot of time that they have to get through. You got somebody yelling in their ear and that whole thing. I really didn't like the Beto Spanish thing. I feel like he panders. I don't like when politicians use those random names. I met Betty in Oklahoma or Ricky in Cleveland, or you know what I mean. It's just it's something that they think about in advance. It sounds rehearsed, and when politicians do it, I don't like it. Here's another thing politicians do that's just so weird. They just you got to and you know what I mean. This thing. It's this thing. But overall, of course, there was talks about immigration. There was talks about climate change, climate control, that whole thing. Booker, who I really want to like Cory Booker, and I do like Cory Booker. I just don't know if he's cut out for this. I don't know. He comes off as too polished, insincere. And if you've heard a lot of Cory Booker's interviews, as I have, he tells the same stories every time. And, you know, we got to hear about the gunshots in his neighborhood. And neighborhood he grew up in 20 years and that kind of thing. And it makes me feel like it's not his neighborhood because he says it too much. And the way that he says it, it just, I don't know. It just sounds really weird. I got to hear about one of his, you know, friends and this one, you know, it sounds kind of, I don't know. It sounds kind of fugazi when he tells a story. Like the first couple times I hear him tell a story, okay, you know, that's what's up. And then, you know, after the third time I hear him tell the story, it sounds like, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It's kind of weird. I don't know. But he spoke Spanish as well. And, you know, he also said, you know, immigrants should not be demonized, which, of course, we understand. The recent death of the father and his child, drowning death at the U.S.-Mexico border, that was clearly on people's mind. That's the story of the day. But anybody else that stood out, I don't really know. The Texas rivalry, we talked about that between Castro and Beto lost that as well. And that whole thing was over immigration. So that whole thing being over immigration and Texas, you know, the Texas guys want to fight it out. I thought it was really interesting that you know, Beto, he got called out, and he got called out because of his policies on immigration. Castro told him that your policies would still criminalize a lot of these families because, you know, everybody, all the Democrats are going to say, oh, we hate what Trump is doing at the border and that whole thing. And it's something to hate because it's not being done right. So when you get them arguing amongst each other, and they should argue amongst each other, I didn't want them to feel like they had on kid gloves. This, to me, did feel like the prelude to the storm. This felt like the opening match in a championship fight. Tomorrow, we should see some sparks really flying. Tomorrow, we should see it. Here's the other thing. When the next debate comes, and I'm not talking about tomorrow's debate, I'm talking about the next debate in July. When that debate comes, some of these people that you saw tonight are not going to be there. I mean, they're going to be home somewhere else, but they're not going to be on the campaign trail. Some of these people are going to come out. I don't think that John Delaney is going to be in it very long. I don't. But you know, it was interesting to watch. It was interesting to watch. Lot of, you would think with all of the planning that they did, they would have had this pulled together a little bit better. Too many hosts, too many cooks can spoil the soup, or you know, the whatever it is. Too many cooks, and tonight they had too many cooks. But all in all, I think that Trump looked at this and said, I'm not threatened by any of these people, and that's probably fair. and Wright. No one up there really looked like they were ready to take on Trump. As I said, Elizabeth Warren always shows sparks, and I felt that Bill de Blasio showed sparks. Another standout moment for Bill de Blasio, and I've heard him say this before. He's raising a black child, and that was, people that don't know, that just kind of catches people off guard. Let's bring up Bill de Blasio so you can see Bill de Blasio raising a black child. As I said, all in all, Cory Booker, we're going to give people letter ratings. I thought that Cory Booker was a C. Julian Castro, I give him a B. Bill de Blasio, I give him a B+. John Delaney, we're going to give him a D. And Tulsi Gabbard, I'm going to give her a C-. And Jay Inslee, he's the climate control, climate change guy. And he feels as though that's going to solve every problem. We're going to also give him a C-. Amy Klobuchar, who I thought did pretty good. We're going to give her an A+. A+ for her. Beto gets a F. All right. And Tim Ryan, who surprised me with a lot that he had to say, we're going to give him a C+. And last but not least, Elizabeth Warren. I thought that she was the big dog. She was the person to beat in this. Nobody really attacked her. And they did not attack Joe Biden. Some people commented on that. I didn't think there was no need to attack Joe Biden directly because he wasn't there. And he's not the biggest threat. So O'Rourke referenced him when he said going back to policies of the past. That was a reference to Joe Biden. But all in all, Elizabeth Warren, I have to give her an A+ as well. Now, while she made some good points, she has some good standout moments, I don't think that she lost anything. I don't think that she gained anything. I think she just held her ground, and that's what is needed. She's definitely going to move forward. She will be at other debates. She won't be there tomorrow, but she will be at future debates. Definitely. So we're going to be tuned in tomorrow, radioonfire.com/live. You can see us also on Facebook, Radio on Fire, or The Diamond K Show on Facebook, and on Twitter at The Diamond K Show. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire. Hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, hit the like button. And as I said, I'll be back here tomorrow with more news, more entertainment, more stories, Urban America, radioonfire.com/join. Become a premium subscriber where you get all types of exclusive content, as well as all of our shows. Over 20 shows geared to Urban America. We're talking about entertainment, sports, relationships, politics, all types of stuff. Women content, religious content for those people, as well as other content geared towards Urban America. RadioOnFire.com/join. You can also make a one-time donation there as well. Support the movement. Support everything that we have going on here. As I said, I will see you guys tomorrow.